pretty busy. And I was really grateful to kind of think of, who do I know back in Maine who's got like a little theater, love, and who can I call? And I called this lovely woman, Tess, and she answered. And I could go on and on about that, but I'm so glad that you said yes to this. So this is a sharing about monologues. This is a project that I started a long time ago, and I'm excited to share with you today. Ms. Tess, thanks, Brianna. Yes, so we are we go back 20 years actually, but we haven't seen each other in 20 years. So this, since today is the first time. So that's amazing. And when we first chatted, I was 5 months postpartum and cuckoo, but so excited to say yes. And I couldn't be more thrilled to be here today. So very quickly before we get into all of this and housekeeping stuff, exits are right behind you. Just follow the stairs up and out. Bathrooms are on the first floor, pretty much right where you entered. So, apologies for there no bathroom on this floor, but you can use the stairs or the elevator. This is about a 1-hour performance with a little talk back included in that. Please stay for the talk back, but no pressure at all, of course. I'm sure you have all paid for parking at this point. But if you have not, and are like, it's no big deal, it is a big deal. Your paying for parking is way less than the ticket you will receive. So if you have not done that yet, just go downstairs. There's a QR code on the front door that will guide you through that. Okay. Lastly, just want to acknowledge the events from earlier this week. The very, very sad event that happened. Oh goodness, I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting. I'm really sorry. We are gathered here tonight in the spirit of motherhood, and in celebration of that, we have to also acknowledge grief. We mourn with the Guerrero family and hold space for the grief that exists in motherhood. We all take a breath. All right, so with that, we will begin the reading of monologues. Thank you.
This One Life Flight to Motherhood. Please secure all emotional baggage, past traumas, hopes and dreams underneath your seat or in the overhead compartment above you. If they don't fit in the space provided, they will be checked for you at this time. Take the time to turn off any bodily autonomy you may still have. Boundaries are strongly discouraged for the full duration of your motherhood journey and should now be accommodating. Passengers from Alabama, Arkansas, Idaho, Indiana, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, North Dakota, South Dakota, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, and West Virginia. There is no exit for you from this aircraft. Mothers, the weather in motherhood, as social media depicts, is clear and sunny, full of patience and joy over a rain on untamed soundtrack. Where we're going, you're the bake sale queen of the PTO while wearing your jeans from college. These pressures and expectations will suppress you over time, but shame and self-doubts are all part of the design. On behalf of American Dream Airways, we hope you enjoy your flight. Hi! Yeah, come
keep at it, nipple cream, ice packs. This little babe was like a razor-toothed Wolverine for the first couple weeks. But as long as he's getting what he needs, I'll be fine. I'm fine. I mean, look at his little yawn. Like a little baby bird. He just wants to be bounced or rocked or just in motion all of the time. And that's what they say is best, you know, have him attached to you as much as possible. I'm still pretty sore, you know, from the birth, but I'll be fine. Need stitches, like all of the stitches. It's like I got a rusty, throbbing zipper that's gone right through me. And swelling, oh my God, and colors, oh, it's like a rainbow between my legs. I'm just kidding. Read everything and then realized they just can't tell you what it's really going to be like. What it's like to feel your most precious lady parts nearly fall out of you when you load the dishwasher or walk to get the mail. Don't really mention that kind of stuff. It's just so nice to see you all. Oh, the only adult I've spoken to really is Alexa. And when Tim gets home, he's, kind of goes right to the baby, which is great, because he's such a good dad. I mean, that's when I get my sixth bath time in, really, anyway, which is amazing, you know. I mean, do we really have to be ripped up the middle to indulge in the divine lovingness of a sitz bath? That's healing from the inside out on all levels. Suppose I do like that little break from holding the baby when he gets home, but sometimes, I just feel a little skipped over. It's so hard for him, works all day to come home to a messy, emotional, postpartum wife. I just barely know what to do with myself. And I never know if I'm doing any of it right, But I know I'll be fine. Everyone tells me to savor this time. It is precious. I never knew I could be covered in every bodily fluid at once. The baby's clean. Our main event for the whole day is the bath. He screams the whole time. Hates it, actually. But he usually gets a good nap afterwards, except when some teen comes and knocks at the door selling Christmas wreaths in July for a school fundraiser. I told him that it wasn't a good time, and wouldn't you know that he came back the very next day at the same exact time, nap time. I just get so angry when anything wakes this baby. The dog barks, like right after we finally got into the perfect nursing position with the pillows, the bobby, the burp cloth, the nipple shield, breast milk collector for the other side, because you can't wait to drop. And I've even got the glass of motherfucking water that I'm somehow supposed to be drinking at the same time, right when his eyes are getting soft and dopey. The sheer anger I feel in that moment is wild. Anyway, hopefully I'll sleep tonight. I'm so glad you came by to meet my precious, perfect new baby. Before you go, will you hold me?
Hello? What? What? What do you mean you can't find it? I ripped apart the bed, threw the sheets and blankets across the room. He had snuck out the back so fast, but the condom, nowhere to be found. Horrified at the only option left of where it could be, I headed to the shower. Could it be lost in there? I felt around in there to see if it was just kind of like in there. Nothing. I tried a different position. I squatted. I reached inside and slowly pulled it out of my vagina with a long Did I just suck the thing right off him? Am I gonna get pregnant? I don't want that for me. Right now. Or for him, for that matter. Pulled myself together and drove to the store for Plan B. That night did not drastically change my life because I had sex and our form of birth control failed us. I'm sexual, and I'm so tired of feeling ashamed for that. And that little pill that I was lucky enough to access at that time ensured the life I later had when I was ready. Not having access to Plan B feels pretty crappy. My life should not be decided on by the failure of a $2.99 glow-in-the-dark condom. And neither should yours be.
I've had 5 pregnancies, 1 abortion, 2 miscarriages, and 2 live births, and I was a different person for each and every one. At 25, I was in the throes of alcoholism and drug use. I was homeless and trying to get on my feet. I found out I was pregnant when I was finishing my first trimester. I was such a wild child that missing my period didn't occur to me. I took a test and I cried, and I drank, and I had out-of-touch thoughts about keeping the baby. But there was no way in hell I was remotely ready. I was in my 2nd trimester when I got an abortion. They didn't tell me what the hormone drop would do to me, so I basically went through postpartum depression. I was a mess. I mean, I was a mess regardless, but I was a super mess after that. 7 years later, in a completely different state with a different fella, I was 10 days late. There was no fucking way I was pregnant. I had an IUD in, good for 10 years. I was on year 4. When that positive came back, I cried, y'all. I wasn't ready to stop partying. I know it sounds shallow, but drugs and alcohol reigned supreme. And I already bought the mushrooms I was gonna do that weekend. But I knew I was ready. I was with a partner who wanted the same things. We wanted to start a family, but we were hoping to wait a couple more years. Oh well. My 2nd pregnancy was the longest time since I started drinking that I was 100% sober. After my kid was born, I continued to drink, but not an inch of what I used to, and I stopped doing all the other drugs I used to dabble with. 2 years after my kid was born, I decided I was done after half a drink one night. It just didn't serve me anymore. I didn't like who I was when I drank, not 10 drink me, not even half. Not a good look, let me tell you, very chaotic. Would I cry? Would I punch someone? Would I make out with everyone? Would I look for crack? That bitch was too much. She wasn't fun anymore, and I had a kid who will forever and ever be more fun and outrageous than any shot of whiskey or one-night stand. What they don't tell you about sobriety is that it fucking sucks. All the coping mechanisms you had, they're out the window. You're not only raw dogging reality, but you're also staring straight into all the bullshit that caused you to drink in the first place, and all the trauma that kept the blackout train chewing. Insert therapy here. Insert a million oh fuck moments there. Insert self-reflection. Insert accountability. Insert trying for baby number 2, and insert my first miscarriage. It was one of the super fun miscarriages, the kind where you walk around like, yeah, I'm pregnant and I feel awful and this is so great, while the baby inside has stopped growing. My body knows I already have trust issues. Why did she do me this way? I was 11 weeks when I found out the baby stopped growing at 8 weeks. Well, let's just say ugly crying in a paper mask with the ultrasound tech is not ideal. So I had 3 options, and I chose to take misoprostol and pass the fetal tissue at home. It took forever. The plan was to take the meds and pass it before my kid got home, and wouldn't you know, it started when my kid walked through the door. Awful cramps set in, and rest is the rest. That was hard, y'all. It was hard to bounce back from. We tried again and became pregnant in December. 7 weeks later, I got out of the car to pick my kid up from daycare, and I felt this huge gush of warm fluid. I knew what was happening. I put my kid in the car, called the doctor, and was told, "I'm sorry, there's nothing that we can do." I went through this one alone. My husband was out of town. It was just me and my kid and my tears. You start to feel silly for getting excited. Like you just made a fool out of yourself. Like, why did I even tell one person I was pregnant? I didn't even want to try again. I just wanted to give up. Things had shifted and I felt numb. What was wrong with me? Was it me? Was it my husband? Is it the universe trying to tell me that I'm a shit mom and to stop procreating? We went camping that fall, and I ate a turkey sandwich. All of a sudden, it seemed vomit-worthy to me. I couldn't eat it anymore, and when we got home, I took a pregnancy test, and 5, you're positive, bitch. And that's when anxiety slapped me right in the face. Pregnant is a hell of a lot scarier when you try for it and when you really want it. And I had some losses, and when you have some losses under your belt. But this baby, she persevered. I went to some dark places during that pregnancy. Some really awful scenarios played out in my head on repeat. I said affirmations daily. And it wasn't until I felt the baby kick that my anxieties began to ease back a bit. And I got to enjoy my pregnancy, even the really awful parts. My baby was born healthy and happy, and with one of the most beautiful umbilical cords I have ever seen. Y'all, it was thick and spiraling. Ooh. My beautiful, perfect older kid had a beautiful, perfect sibling, and I'm a 100% sober mom. I've had 5 pregnancies. Each one I had a choice. Would I do it all over again? Yes. 100 times yes.
Mothers, what did dinner look like for you last night? Paying my kid a credit card and saying, "I don't care what you get, just don't make me think about it."
Dinner looked like my toddler eating a mustard packet. On the counter with no pants. Microwave tamales for the win.
Leftovers from 2 nights ago. The little one refuses to sit in her high chair and wants to walk around while eating. The 4-year-old will only eat vanilla yogurt and cereal. Going on 3 weeks now. Bowls are being dumped on the floor. The dog's inhaling people food. The cat is drinking water on the counter. I have a glass of wine sitting next to cold leftovers. Did I really drink? I eventually forgot that I had dinner to eat and grabbed a granola bar instead.
I have a friend who shared with me her first real orgasm happened while she was giving birth. She told me she doesn't usually share that because no one wants to be the one bragging about their orgasmic birth. But it changed the way she experienced her own body. She said she felt free to feel pleasure without shame for the first time ever. That gave me a lot to think about. block off a week's pilgrimage of spiritual and sexual awakening and enlightenment along the borders of Tijuana or Taos to actually answer that begging question. But I'm suddenly feeling duped by society. The truth is, everyone loves to party around and about women's bodies. The world loves women's bodies. Look at art history. So many naked women depicted by dudes. Curvy, supple, fertile, desiring, fleshy bodies for all to feast upon. A cultural gift, even. Voila. Objective. Like some magical spell cast upon us all, making us easy to own and have opinions about, suggestions, fixes, judgments, restrictions. I've never even been a guest to my own body party. Not anymore. It's now time to get the fuck out of my body! Get out of me! I'm not saying I won't want company at my own body party ever again. I'm just saying I'm taking a nap. For me. For my own pleasure. This my body party about to get lit. That can't make it work. With fresh, clean, velvety, smooth as butter sheets made tightly by some well-paid hospitality professional, lights dimmed. Windows agape, breeze tempting the curtains open. I don't care who can see. Ambient music playing, the smell of tiger balm. I've got no place to be. In fact, no one even knows I'm at my own body party. Alone. And no one is looking for me. My skin? Moisturized. We've drunk up with any lotion that is not Johnson & Johnson. I got crystals, little sparkly shrines in their corners, Palo Santo sticks wafting around, always on the corner of a pillow with a page document. An unassuming deity makes its way into my sacred mom body party, chanting affirmations to me, like not in an annoying way, just like,
You are radiant. You handle it all with confidence and grace. Your maternal intuition is on point.
You are loved and accepted exactly as you are.
there's spa water with cucumber and mint and essential oils that is somehow readily available to me, but I don't really know how. It just appears when I want it. It's like my needs are anticipated and just met. Alright, I guess this mom body party is mostly about hydration. Cushy Target home goods vibe to it. Without hands or conditions. I'll call you
When my daughter was about 4, she finally noticed that her dad's parts were different than hers. We were taking a family sauna and she pointed at him and said, "Dad's vagina is dumb."
My youngest son called me May for a solid year, because that's what my husband called me.
Ah, yes. I gained weight during my late 30s pregnancy, leaving me with stretch marks, wider hips, and sagging boobs. And leg veins. Oh, the leg veins! One day I got out of the shower, really feeling the reality of my body now, and I sulked naked across our family room to grab clothes from the bedroom, which is when my 3-year-old, his eyes lit up and he said, "You're beautiful!" Softening the way that I see myself now.
fall for that. Just last week, Gracie was potty training, and like most toddlers, she's fascinated by the sights and sounds from the wondrous world of the toilet bowl. I mean, everyone's toilet time is fair game for questions, comments, and communal farewells down the flush. Since having kids, my flow has become much heavier. Well, I was on day 2 of my period, and I had to pee. I don't even shut the door anymore. What's the point? Well, there she was, right on cue, excited and eager, looking, and I tried to be quick, but she was quicker. My bright red gelatinous clots joyfully danced down the toilet bowl, making the water look like a lively aquarium. She peered into the toilet, her face lit up. Look, Mama, a jellyfish! And honestly, for a second, I too was totally charmed by my glorious menses gliding downward into oblivion. It was pretty.
You say I've got mom brain because I didn't remind you of our 10 a.m.? Mom brain is practicing these presentations while packing lunches, resetting coffee while remembering the dates, the details, everyone's needs, on top of managing life and death scenarios like walking in parking lots, with cars and strangers, and kids reaching for soggy cigarette butts on the pavement, all before 7:30 in the morning. You know I can recite whole books from cover to cover, half asleep. I'm multitasking unscripted needs 16 hours a day and for years on end. You should be afraid of me. I'm operating at a very high laser focus level, and my tolerance is way down because mom brains prune out all the bullshit. Mom brains mainline efficiencies by economizing time and money, and we even give a damn. These lightning rod neurological pathways are galvanized by generations of instincts. I quit.
Mothers, what do you need right now?
God's will to fold 3 loads of laundry. Currently sitting on my toddler's unused bed. A duplicate of myself, eggs and milk. Seems like it's probably a grocery day.
Number 1 thing I need is space. Number 2 thing I need is to not answer another question for a hot minute. 3, good cry. 4, dinner delivery. 5, to never hear the phrase self-care again.
I need some magic power for my kids to sleep through one entire night without vomit or nosebleeds or pee or fevers or nightmares. A pair of jeans that fit to sleep past 6 a.m. Maybe a skincare routine that's beyond a bar of soap. And for this country to
Wake the fuck up! We are already late, but I squeezed in 45 seconds to run the vacuum, which coincidentally is enough time for both children at the time, who were both under 5, to empty a bottle of shampoo onto my bedroom floor. Rage showed up then. She also showed up that time my youngest hurled her dinner plate to the floor with a deadpan look on her face. This was after I excused the cluttered kitchen counters that I'd been drowning in so I could execute dinner, which was already 20 minutes late due to a tantrum by the oldest and subsequent wedding accident, cleaning up piss and hot supper all at the same time. And she showed up when I tried to make my bed that day. You know how they love when you throw that sheet out and it floats down to the bed in the soft, bright, serene sunshine, like in slow motion, and they jump in and under before it hits the mattress. Rage was with me again. Every day, rage accumulates like little drips into a shallow bucket, teetering on its hinge. eventually flooding us all. I keep forgetting to scream into a pillow. The feeling is beginning to circle back once every few weeks. I'm afraid to admit it because I'm not sure how normal it is. But when she's with me, I'm paralyzed. I'm stiff, my throat closes, I can't blink, I see white, I hear high-pitched white noise, and I feel it squeezing my breath. And there's no pause button with 2 small children in a flood. They only get worse when I walk away, and the idea of them seeing me walk away feels worse. So I force it directly. I restrain my daughter's little but strong, flailing body in my 2 arms, which are flooded with rage. I hold her tight, swaddled like she wants to be. My body becomes her rigid container, an eggshell with her as my tender yolk center, until she at least stops the screaming. Sometimes I scream too. I use my physical strength to dominate her, to assert my control over her, because isn't that what she wants in that moment? Isn't it what she needs? It seems to be the only thing I can do to bring her back and to keep me there. It's the only thing that seems to work. Where does this come from? Am I a monster? I don't know what's right, what's safe, what's best. I don't know who I can talk to about this. Both end in tears. First her, then me. We talk about it. We hold each other, and we are sorry.
What does asking for help feel like?
Feels like another thing to do. Makes me feel like a failure, like a football to the face. Embarrassed, desperate, like I'm not enough.
Well, today my 14-year-old son walked up to me with a full glass of water. He'd indeed been a project for hours, and he brought me back to the present. Told me I was probably getting a bit dehydrated. I smiled down to my bones and drank the entire glass in front of him and gave him a big, big hug.
Asking for help is like unlocking another level.
Listen, I never liked kids until having my own. I never cared about childhood development. I never knew babies were whole humans that deserved respect. I thought kids were just side characters, you know? That's how they're always portrayed on television and in the movies. That's how I was treated growing up. Just an afterthought. A child to be seen and not heard. When I cried, I was told I was wrong to be sad. I was distracted by my mom. Don't feel that way. Feel this way instead, because it makes me more comfortable. I was made fun of for the reasons I was upset. And you never fully get the true picture of your own childhood until you parent your own kid. In whatever way that looks. I've learned Becky Bailey's conscious discipline. I'm an eager student of Janet Lansbury. And what it comes down to is that I want my children raised in a home that doesn't get scared of big feelings. A home where we learn how to express big feelings in a safe way. I've cried so many times because of what I'm saying to my child are the things that I never ever heard as a kid. Like, I'm sorry. And I love all of you. Never in my wildest dreams did I think having children would open up my own childhood wounds. wounds that I've been wearing as badges, badges that I wore as armor. I was raised to pull up my big girl panties and fucking deal with it. But fuck that, y'all. I'm letting these panties sag. I'm letting them slide all the way the fuck off because I'm choosing to heal by helping my babies feel accepted to be who they are. They feel seen and worthy and respected. And that's wild to me. It's nothing I ever had.
So around age 30, my daughter asked me, why girls have two butts? We don't have two butts. Just one, I said. I have two. My little butt, vulva, and my big butt back here, she explained. That's when I realized she needed to know all the names of her anatomy. So what's that right here, she asked. That's your clitoris. She said, oh, it's so cute.
Growing up in a Southern Baptist household, sexuality was shameful. The only option was abstinence until marriage. Even though my family was significantly relaxed, has significantly relaxed their beliefs over time, I don't think I will ever feel comfortable discussing the subject with them. I still struggle sometimes with a deeply entrenched shame related to body and sexuality. When my little sister announced she was pregnant, I felt immense sadness along with my joy. The sorrow wasn't for her. She has a healthy and happy marriage, is financially secure, and lives close to my family. No, I grieved because I would experience my dear sister's pregnancy only virtually from a great distance. I wish I could be the wise older sister who had been there before and could guide her along the way. I wanted to share stories and commiserate when she talked about her morning sickness. I, too, had constantly felt nauseous when I was pregnant, and I understood what she was going through. Only she didn't know I had been pregnant, because I never told her, because I had an abortion. I was fortunate to have easy legal access in a state where the right to choose is now more restricted. I don't regret the decision I made. I adore my little nephew, and my sister is now pregnant with a second child. While I don't think she would judge me for my choice, I'm not willing to risk other family members finding out. So again, I commiserate in silence, holding my secret close.
It was a cool November morning. I was cleaning up the kitchen after breakfast while my 2.5-year-old and 16-month-old daughters played on the kitchen floor at my feet. My hands in hot, sudsy water, I leaned into the countertop and felt a familiar thump in my belly. Maybe just a spasm, I thought to myself. I had just started introducing table food to my daughter while breastfeeding full time. I still had a bit of my baby belly. I was in the throes of a difficult marriage. Sex was far from my mind most of the time. I had not yet started menstruating since my daughter's birth and had faithfully used the diaphragm on the few occasions of intimacy. I couldn't possibly be pregnant, right? Later that week, I called to set up an appointment to see my doctor. During that visit, I discovered I was 5.5 months pregnant. It was a shock to me. My beautiful baby boy was born on February 4th, 1978. He was perfect in every way. Long and lanky at 24 inches and 7 pounds 8 ounces. I signed us out of the hospital and took him home when he was 4 hours old. Because I didn't have the luxury of health insurance. It was the third time I decided to avoid a hospital stay. I knew what I was doing. My son was an extremely bright baby, but slept on average 4 hours in any 24-hour period. I was exhausted, with no sleep, and 3 babies, but so are my mothers. I breastfed him exclusively, but even at 3 and 4 months old, he was so distracted that I could only keep him at my breast for a few minutes. he would wrestle away from me to see everything around him. At 6 months old, he could barely reach the top crib rail with his little fingers, but he could still manage to lift himself out of the crib, drop to the floor with a thud, and make his getaway. He was walking confidently and beginning to run between 6 and 7 months. His athleticism was incredible. I was shocked. Later, I watched him struggle in school as the busy work bored him. He quickly became labeled and then lived up to that problem child label. I used every resource I had, but I watched this handsome, athletic, gifted child failing to fit into society's required agenda. He was such a talented and perceptive boy. Surely he could find his way, as brilliant and mechanically inclined as he was. Yet every day felt like a struggle. I was desperate to help this boy I so deeply loved, but there was no help to be found. It was a shock to me. In time, he developed into a kind and generous man. Despite years of adversity in school, with relationships, and his career, he taught others about anything in which they showed interest. Had an insatiable appetite for learning. He and I would spend hours discussing options for design and construction, remodeling and creating. His eyes would light up with brilliant ideas as we brainstormed. Gave us both such joy and connected our like minds. He desperately sought reassurance that he was valued. Helping others who were grateful gave him momentary pride in himself, but daily he still struggled with insomnia and a brain that was so overactive that I could see the pain in his eyes. Alcohol became his answer to that pain and spinning. Yet he continued on despite that destructive choice. He fathered 2 beautiful children. Relationships fell apart, but he built new ones. Jobs fell apart, but he would find another that excited him. But things never lasted with this wonderful man. It was a shock to me. February 1st, 2017. The sheriff's car pulled up in our yard. The sheriff slowly walked to the front door and knocked. As he sat down in my living room, he told me he had to share some bad news. My son had been found that evening. He had died of suicide by hanging. It was 3 days before he turned 39. It was a shock to me. We held a gathering of family and friends on his birthday, February 4th, 2017. Hundreds of people gathered to honor him. Everyone talked about how much they loved and respected him. Multitudes told of their gratitude for the things he had done for them over the years. Those stories filled my heart with pride. We need to love people for who they are, just the way they are, and especially when we have to search for their gifts. Be flexible in our expectations and practice care profoundly for one another. We have a very long way to go as a society, and it's all still such a shock to me.
My husband and I already had our children. 2 children were all we could afford and all we were planning to have. At the time, I was the only one working and fully supporting our family of 4. I had just started my own business, so the income was meager, but we were getting by. We didn't have health insurance. Society has an impossible expectation of women to work as if we don't have children, and to mother as if we don't work. Many of us are doing both, and often feeling like we're failing at both. The plan was for him to get a vasectomy so I could finally get off birth control, but our order of operations was off. So I jumped the gun on stopping birth control, so we went back to using condoms and he kept pushing off making the appointment. There was one passionate evening after an extended time apart and we just didn't grab a condom. That evening resulted in a third unplanned and unwanted pregnancy. Having a third child would have changed everything. The life we built and the life we still dreamt of. After considering all of our options and the many factors at play, we decided the decision we made was to get an abortion. He agreed it was my body and it would be my choice. He went with me to all the appointments, but I still felt very alone and so much shame. During the days between the positive pregnancy test and taking the abortion pill, he was the only one who knew, and he was there for me, but only as much as a man can be. He finally made the appointment to get the vasectomy, and I do not regret my decision. I do often wonder how our lives would be different had we chosen otherwise, and each year I remember both the expected due date and the date of my abortion. And I feel both rage and heartbreak. Rage that my daughter is coming of age in a world where she has less of a choice and less bodily autonomy than I. Heartbreak as I realize she will have to consider the status of reproductive rights when making decisions about where to attend college. This is not progress, and we will not go back.
I had a complete hysterectomy that removed my uterus and a baby with a healthy beating heart the night before Roe v. Wade was overturned. My partner and I had been trying to get pregnant. After 2 years, when we gave up, it finally happened. You were excited but nervous. I started bleeding 3 different times and thought I was miscarrying each time. But every time they checked, it was still there, heart rate increasing. With all the early ultrasounds, they noticed it was implanted close to my C-section scar. Things started happening very fast, and suddenly I was sent to a specialist in the city who confirmed my doctor's suspicions. It was a rare ectopic pregnancy called the C-section scar ectopic. The placenta grows into the scar tissue and ruptures the uterine wall, usually in the first trimester. My HCG levels were too high to end the pregnancy with a drug called motherhood, and a D&C would have likely punctured my bladder. So, Friday morning, my pregnant body woke up without anything in it. A sudden evacuation of a pregnancy and everything that would let me try to have a baby again. In my sadness, I am incredibly thankful to live in a time and place when this condition can not only be detected, but also that I had access to the procedure that would save my life. The hospital had to approve it through their ethics board, and I'm thankful they did. I wanted that baby so much, but I was so thankful for the emergency abortion. Waking up the morning after that surgery, I watched the fall of Roe v. Wade on TV, and I cried. I cried in pain. I cried in loss. I felt so many things as I watched from my hospital bed, beeping, and the meds, and the nurses who silently waxed in and out of my room with an unspoken sorrow for me, for us. I spent a lot of time grieving for myself, for my partner, for my kids who love me as the mother I am, and for others who could no longer receive the life-saving health care that I did. I am so, so sorry. I deserve better. We all do.
Second labor came on fast. Within an hour, I retreated to my bedroom to gather my things and my husband. He followed me. I was on my yoga mat panting and moaning like an animal. He sat on the bed with his phone, peeking up every now and again, not seeming too interested. Can you help me count my contractions? I asked. Yeah, if you really need me to, or if you think it's necessary, or some extremely odd, incomprehensible thing. Thankfully, my friend showed up, and it didn't take long for her to realize we needed to go. It was a very dramatic hospital entrance. The midwife checked me.
Wow, honey, you're trying to have this baby all by yourself.
I was 10 centimeters dilated. Started pushing. The midwife had to tell my husband to take my hand. It was like he was not my husband at all. I mean, he was there in his body, in his handsome male form, but not in the way that I needed him. I felt abandoned, even betrayed, in this crucial and defining moment. There's no reason for me to think he was going to have us the second time. He nailed it the first time. I still remember how he stood by my side for my 30-hour labor with our first baby, and how his eyes filled with the perfect amount of worry and wonder and calm and excitement. And afterwards, he changed diapers, feed me, held the baby, cooed, and said adorable things like, "Don't worry, I'll never let anybody spank you." We discussed swaddling techniques, argued about when to introduce a pacifier, and totally nailed the sleep training thing together as a team. We were happy. I've had a hard time finding forgiveness for that second labor, and I don't want to defame the man I love, but the reason I share this story is because it's honest. We were in a spat, getting royally screwed up, and I totally loved. And I felt scary to the entire world. I really loved that it just came down to me. But I was all I needed. Moms are the scariest people in the room. And I didn't understand that until I was her. We all make mistakes, even in those crucial, defining moments. And honestly, I read back over the books. I read back over my journals of the first year of baby number 2, and they are full of positive things about my husband and the life we built. I come home from work to a clean house, having kids, a delicious meal cooked, and he was even humble about it. He did and does many good things, amazing things that only he can do for me, for us. I love him. In fact, I've loved him more after seeing him show up day after day for me and the family we have now. But sometimes, I just think we need a standing ovation for being the scariest person in the room over and over, for working with what we've been dealt. What a privilege you have to work with us. We know it's hard. Oh, it's been hard. I mean, what is expansive joy? It's knowing your power. Us mothers are goddamn childbirthing heroes. Just a reminder and a warning.
I woke up grateful to be alive, but somewhere around 3 a.m., sadness set in.
For fuck's sake, no one likes getting an abortion. I had never felt so much love as when she was placed in my arms.
You were safe with me.